Alright, hey, Haze Omega here, and welcome to another Haze Omega Sauron Lightbee video. Alright, there she is, man, my 2018 Sauron Lightbee MX. 4 years old and still going strong, alright? I haven't broken it beyond repair yet. I just want to say. Anyway, yeah, so to keep it going, I bought this guy. This is a Warp9 reinforced frame steering head clamp, okay, what it is. So if you guys don't know, this model Sauron, all right, the Sauron MX, the very first model, came with a bicycle headset, all right, and it turns out they weren't strong enough to handle, you know, the big jumps and all that stuff, and people are breaking them, and it was constantly loosening on me. That was the big problem with the bike when I first got it. The headset was like loose, and like the steering was all loose and everything. Not good, all right. So they upgraded to what's called the Sauron Beefy headset, alright? So what that is it's got a tapered roller bearing, alright? Very similar to a motorcycle, alright? And basically you added this little adapter cup here, and it allowed you to use it, alright? You put the race in there and everything. So Warp9's reasoning for making this guy, alright, is that if this loosened enough, alright, over time, your headset or the head on your frame is gonna wear out. It's gonna like kind of oval or just get enlarged, and then it's gonna be all sloppy and stuff. All right, and that damage is kind of irreversible. I suppose you probably could you could weld some material in there and then machine it out so this cup will fit back in there. All right, but that's what I would do if that was to happen. So thus far, Haze Omega has had this bike for 4 years, and I've raced it a lot. I have ridden it. I ride my bike harder than like probably 80% of people out there. Okay, okay. I ain't no pro rider or anything, but yeah, man. I've beaten the crap out of this bike. All right, and we've won a lot. We've gotten on the podium many times on this bike, riding this bike very hard in all types of conditions, and so far it's not that bad. All right, it's still pretty tight. I've tightened it a whole lot. I also do have the Warp9 steering stem lock, all right, the long bolt that goes in here that holds everything together. Haze Omega is all Warp9 out, all right, basically. All right, Haze Omega is a big fan of the Warp9 brand. I wish they would sponsor me. But anyway, I got this from Grit Shift for $32, all right. I will put a link in the description where you can get one of these guys if you want to get it for your bike. All right, it should be pretty easy to install. All right, we'll be installing this on the bike tonight. I will show you how to do it. Basically, you got to take the top clamp of your forks off and then just slide this over. Unfortunately, you can't just clamp it on there, all right, because it has to go over it, all right. You can't just go over thing. You can't. It won't open and close, all right. It would have been nice if they made something like that, but you know, I think it would be better if it was just like one piece like this, okay, instead of something that like flaps up and down, all right. And so what this guy is supposed to do is supposed to add a clamp around the head, all right, that adds pressure to it, all right. The idea is like, you know, the force is exerted on this. It wasn't really designed for this, and over time it's gonna flex and stuff, all right, because it's aluminum and all that, and then it could elongate over time, all right, and once that happens, you know, it's all bad, all right. So this is to prevent that from happening. It adds it clamps onto here and adds force on this and makes that part of the head stronger, all right. So those of you guys that are riding your bike really hard, doing big jumps and stuff, this would probably be a good modification for you. If you're just kind of just casual trail rider, you just ride around the city, you don't ride your bike very hard, then maybe this might not be for you, but it still would be a good idea. You know, it's a little insurance for the future, and that's the reason I bought it. Like I said, I've had this bike for 4 years, and I feel that I don't really need it, but I'm going to add it, all right? They made it, and they made it for a reason, all right? There must have been some bike that had some damages like this, okay? Mine doesn't seem to be like that right now, okay? So let's go ahead and install it. It shouldn't be too hard. Like I said, I got it from Grit Shift. I'll have a link in the description where you can get it, all right? And yeah, so let's get to installing it. I've had this for a while now. Okay. All right. Okay, before we install it, there it is. All right. the packaging it comes. It says S Frame Clamp. The official name on the invoice, all right, is a Suron Frame Steering Reinforcement Clamp. Okay, and that's what it is. It's just a clamp. Let's go open it up. Let's take this staple out. Okay, Warp9, made in America, guys. Support your domestic products. Okay, it comes with, well, bam, Warp9 sticker and the clamp. All right, there it is. So it's just a clamp. It looks like it's got some kind of fluting here, as you can see. It says Warp9 on the front. Okay, and then there's a bolt here. Connects to the threaded portion here. Now I'm not sure what torque spec this bolt should be, guys. It is aluminum. You don't want to thing it. All right, but there he goes. It does flex quite a bit. Okay, so hopefully that goes over where we're going to be installing nicely, and then it's just when we tighten this bolt, it's going to clamp around the head and make it stronger. Okay, so let's go do it. Okay, so it would be good to have your bike on a stand like mine is right now, but with the front wheel on the ground. All right, it doesn't have to be all the way up in the air, because if you loosened it, everything would fall out. All right, we don't want it to fall out. We just want to remove the top clamp. All right, so basically, here's what's got to happen, guys. All right, I have all the Warp9 stuff, guys. I got the Warp9 handlebar clamp here. All right, the direct mount handlebar clamp. I'll put a link in the end of the video if you guys want to see some more stuff about this guy. And I have the Warp9 steering stem lock. All right, I'll put a link at the end of the video about this guy too if you want to know more about that. All right, this allows me to install the fender. All right, guys. So, but anyway, what we need to do is we need to get this the triple clamp, or the crown, right, the top crown, off of the fork so we can install the clamp on the head. Okay, and that's all we got to do. So so the first thing we should do is remove the handlebar. All right, we could probably just leave the handlebar connected to the clamp, but we need to get this out of the way. All right, and then we need to remove the stem lock, and then loosen these bolts, and then remove the top clamp, and then we put it back on. All right, so okay, what you might want to do is take note of how high your forks are in the crown. Okay, so maybe take a measurement with a caliper and see how high they are. All right, and they should be the same height too as well. Okay, so since we won't be messing with the bottom clamp, we should be fine. All right, I don't even have to take my headlight out. Yeah, we just need to take this top clamp off so we can slide the reinforcement clamp onto the head. Okay, so let's go do that. Okay, here's what I got done so far. Your bike may be different than mine, okay? Yours might have the mountain bike stem still, right? But I took the handlebar clamp out. I should have marked it where I was gonna install it before, but hopefully I didn't move it too much. I just moved the handlebar out of the way. It's resting on my headlight right now. All right, and then I removed the Warp9 steering stem lock, okay? And all the spacers on there, okay? Next thing we got to do is loosen the top triple clamp, and we're going to pull that out. And also, if you guys are wondering, this is a Manitou Dorado fork. All right, your fork may be different. All right, but try to follow along as best as you can. yours may be different if you don't have the same equipment as mine. Okay, most of the bolts are 5 and 6 millimeter Allen head. Okay, so at this point, I've loosened the top clamp bolts all the way. Should slide off. Okay. There you go. Okay, oh, well, this looks like I still have a little spacer here. We'll leave that on there. You gotta get all this stuff off. There you go. Okay. This would probably be a good time to service your bearings. Take a look at them. They look good, and don't mess around with it. Okay, I'm gonna go throw some extra grease in there. All right, guys. So this will be good to go. Since we're already here, we might as well do it. All right. Okay, here we go. Yeah, like I said, I greased it, so so there'll be more grease and dirt and water won't get in there. All right, but it looked pretty good in there. All right, if it looks dry in there, you definitely want to get in there and do some maintenance. All right, guys. Anyway, so here's the clamp. I'm gonna install it with the Warp9 logo facing the right side up. All right, guys. All right, and then we're gonna in the picture it was facing forward, so we're gonna do it like that. Okay, you want to slip this on over here. All right, over the cup for the headset, and it's not slipping over. I may want to loosen it. Yep. Okay, so it's a 4mm, guys. It's different than all the other freaking bolts on my thing. All right, well, we're gonna loosen it as much as we can. Slip over. There we go. Okay, and I think you probably want it probably close to the top of the stem clamp. Okay, maybe I'm gonna do it with like 1mm lower than the top. Okay, just like that. All right, and then we're gonna tighten it. I do not know what the torque spec is, guys. I just sent I just sent an email to Warp9 asking what it is. So by the time I probably edit this video, I will probably have it. Okay, it's just, but the important thing is to get the clamp on there, because yeah, it's not easy to install. You have to take everything out, then put it in there. All right, and once it's in there, you just you can do whatever you want with it. That's what I want to say. I'm going to try to get this centered as much as possible. Okay, and yeah, so you want it pretty much as close to the top as possible. All right, and this is not. Okay, there we go. Maybe the part where it starts to bevel down. Okay. All right. Actually, so I think what I want to do first is, let's not make it super tight first. We'll just leave it kind of loose, and then when we tighten the headset down, then that's when we will tighten the clamp, right? Because then we'll know that all the weight is pushing down on the cup and it's flush, and then we can go tighten that bad boy. Okay. So all right, I'm gonna go put it back together again. All right, it's just the opposite. Just gonna put this guy on. Okay, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of tighten the stem lock, all right, but not all the way yet. I want to get the handlebars on there. All right, so I just lightly tightened it for now. Make sure you got all your spacers back on there, and now we're gonna go put the handlebar back on. Okay, and hopefully you've marked your handlebars where you're supposed to put it. I kind of remember where it is, okay, so I'm gonna just play it by ear. so now you got everything back together. You're gonna have to reset or retighten your headset. Okay, guys. So what I'm gonna do here is loosen this and get that the way I want it, and we'll just start tightening this thing. Okay, so now that all of this is loose, you can go ahead and try and tighten this bad boy. And I like mine pretty tight, all right? So. Okay, so I'm lifting the bike, get the wheel off of the ground so I can set the headset. All right, so that seems like it's too loose. I want to tighten it a little more than that. Okay, I like it where it's like really, really tight, guys. I don't like it loose at all. It seems like this thing gets loose all the time. Okay, that seems pretty tight. Let's see if I can go some more. Okay, that's even tighter. And that's even tighter. Okay, so for motorcycles, they say that you should be able to move the handlebar and it should be able to fall by itself. All right, mine is not. Okay, so I think just get it the way that you guys want it, or the way you had it before. All right, I like it tight. I don't like to have any play in this thing. All right, so hopefully this reinforcement will stiffen it up. Also, remember where these the clamps were. Okay. The forks. As you can see, it looked like it freaking moved, man. Let me see if that's in there all the way. Yeah, one is higher than the other. What the hell? Shouldn't be like that. What you might want to do is bounce it up and down a little bit. Okay. Anyway, yeah, just go ahead and set your headset. Just tighten your headset. Okay. So I've got a problem. One of my fork legs is higher than the other. All right. So what I'm gonna have to do is loosen this side and move it up a little bit. Okay. But I want to tighten the top clamp. All right. So I've already got it set how I want it. All right. That's how tight it is. All right. It's pretty tight. Like I said, it should fall by itself, but I like it a little bit tight. So. If you make it too tight, it may damage the bearings, but I want it tight. Okay, guys. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and tighten the top clamp. Then we'll tighten the handlebar bolts. All right. My top clamp is 11 Newton meters. Okay. Okay, I've got the handlebars how I want them. I'm just going to go ahead and torque them down now. I'm going to torque it down to 11 Newton meters. That's the same torque as the headset, the whatchamacallit, the top clamp. If I remember correctly, that's how it was. It was I could barely get this on there, so. Okay, that should be pretty good. Alright, all of this is tight now. Now what I want okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to tighten the frame clamp. Alright, so Hayes Mega is going to torque it down to 11 Newton meters. Alright, that's what the torque is for all of these bolts. So that way I just keep it simple. But when I get a response from Warp9 Racing, I will put a subtitle below and in the description of the video what the torque for this guy should be. Alright, it's only one bolt. Alright, guys. It's a 4mm. Okay. We're going to tighten it to the same torque as the other ones. Hopefully I don't strip it. Oh. There we go. Okay. Crikey, that was tight, dude. Maybe that might have been too much. I'm not sure, man. It's a smaller bolt than all the other ones, so maybe I shouldn't have torqued it to that much. But hopefully we won't break it. Well, we didn't break it, so I think that should be fine. We're done. Hayes Mega has a Dorado fork, all right, and the special thing about the Dorado fork is that there's no fork brace that holds the two together, all right. So you can independently move the left and the right forks. And for whatever reason, my right fork is lower than my left, so I'm gonna raise my right fork up a little bit to match this one, all right? So everything all lines up. If you have another type of fork, all right, like a Fox fork or the RST fork, then don't worry about that, okay? Okay, so there it is when it's all said and done, all right? You can't really see it because it's behind a number plate, guys. Yeah, you have to really, there you go. There you go. Okay, so there it is. All right, so as long as you get it on there, you can set how high you want it and how tight where you want it whenever, all right? So I used 11 Newton meters. I felt that might have been too much. All right, I use the same torque as all these other bolts right here, okay? But these are 5mm Allen heads. This is a 4mm Allen head, so maybe we should have probably torqued it to less, okay? But when I get a response from Warp9, I'll put a subtitle at the bottom of the video right now, all right, and in the description of the video. Okay, so there it is. All right. From what they say on Warp9's website, that the 2023 Surons actually come with this already. Okay, so if you have an older one like mine, probably a good idea to have it. All right. It's nice how these bikes evolve over time. You know, Hayes Mega has kept this bike up to date. Pretty good so far. That's what I'll say. Okay. All right, so that should help. Hopefully that helps tighten up the steering too. All right. And yeah, I think they only sell it in that color too. Alright guys, so that's how you install the Suron frame reinforcement clamp from Warp9 Racing. Alright, don't forget, I will put the torque spec for it. I'm surprised Warp9 didn't have a torque spec. What if we stripped it or something, or what if we didn't make it tight enough? Alright, so that's why it's always important to have a torque spec. But there's no doubt in my mind, that's tight. Okay, that's not going nowhere, okay? Alright, so pretty simple. Yeah, all you have to do is really take the top clamp off, slip it onto the head, tighten it up. I would tighten it up after you retighten the headset. Alright, once you have your headset tightened and set and all that stuff, then go ahead and tighten it. Alright, because when it compresses, it's going to compress all of this. Alright, it's going to compress the whole headset, the adapter cup, and all that stuff, and it's going to help seat that that cup in there. Alright, and then once it's all tightened in there, go ahead and tighten the clamp. Okay, so I left it kind of loose until everything was tightened. All right, and then yeah, make sure your handlebars go back on the same way they were before, and that should be pretty much it. All right, I think it should take you maybe like less than an hour to do this. All right, if you know what you were doing. All right, and like I mentioned, like all the bikes are different. All right, everyone has different forks, everyone has different handlebars. So your install may differ from my install, all right? But that's pretty much the gist of it. Remove the top clamp, slip the clamp in there, put everything back together, all right? And make sure you torque everything, all right? For the Dorado fork, it was 11 Newton meters for pretty much all the bolts, all right? So that's what I tightened everything to, and that's what I tightened the clamp to, all right? But I feel that might have been too much for the clamp. Maybe you want like 8 or 9 Newton meters, okay? I felt like, oh, should I keep on going? It might strip, so, okay. Alright, so you can get these guys from Grid Shift for $32. I'll put a link in the description of the video where you can order it. Alright, thanks for watching. Hayes Mega out. I hope this was educational and entertaining. Thanks for watching. Hayes Mega out.